Welcome to Vlog Thursday again. For us, not for you, because the first Vlog Thursday is on this camera that has not been smashed yet.
Yet is the operative word there. It will.
I
most likely.
controlled my rage because the camera decided it was going to lock up. I'm looking over here to make sure this one's not, and it's seriously still recording. Sorry, I wasn't looking at you wonderful people on the other side of that lens. But this happened, so I don't know what's wrong, but we are going to Google it because that's how we solve all of our technical problems here.
Luckily, like Boy Scouts, we're prepared. And we just happen to have an extra Canon 70D laying around.
Yeah.
Because, that's how we are.
Good news is we are more concise the second time around. Because we were all over the place the first time.
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyways, this episode is brought to you by Lawrence Systems.
Again.
Part of the reason we did this, I want to say brought to you by Lawrence Systems because a little issue came up. So I'm always willing to give a lot of information, a lot of help, and respond to many, many forums and questions and Reddit responses as much as I can within reason. But someone didn't understand that we're a business and sent me like a to-do list of things they wanted me to log in and do. And I said, okay, is this much? I assumed it was like a business proposal. They're like, I don't understand. I'm like, what not? Well, I just need all these things set up, but I'm not doing it for free. At some point, there is a business, and we've talked about this, maybe mentioned in the past, but as a reminder for those watching you, I give away, hey, someone sent me a screenshot, like I can't fix this, and it was in Reddit, and I responded with my own screenshots of what I thought some of the problems might be. And we have our forums where one of the things I like about Facebook forums is I share a lot of screenshots. People ask, where's this menu? And I can actually just grab a screen and drag it into Facebook without even saving, downloading, and uploading a file. These are reasons I like that, so I can, very quickly respond and be helpful. But when you come up with a to-do list for me, can you log in and set this up and this up and this up for me? That is a price. That's not a question. That's a business proposal.
There's a difference between sharing knowledge and doing something for you.
Yeah. So I'm always willing to share and help, and I'm excited to get people into tech, which is, a big reason of this channel, and share all this fun stuff with you. I just did a video. It's funny how some of the videos come about. There's less a script, and which is why I got to turn my phone on mute now. And there's less a script and more I have something to do, so I share it with you. And what I did was I did the UniFi update, and I kind of showed our actual update process for doing the UniFi update. So I walked you through that. So it's not like I need a script to do some of these videos. It's something I'm doing anyway, so it makes it easy to do the sharing. But like I said, in the bottom line, this is a business. So I just want to bring that up for those of you wondering. We have rates. We do these services. And if you're an IT person who got a project so far but needs help consulting with it, absolutely. That's part of our business model, is helping people set this up. You go, hey, I watched your video on UniFi Controller, but I'd like to set that up myself. You can contract us to do that. We're very reasonable on things like that. We're experienced at it because managing the UniFi system is easy. Setting up the controller requires a few steps.
Yeah.
So I have an entire video. I hold nothing back in my video. It's not like my videos are a lead in to something. Because someone wanted to know what ports are for, which I actually just told them over the phone when they called. I said, if you just want to know that, honestly, it's a Google search to my video, but why not? You called, I answered, and one of my guys, or I actually one of them, took the call and gave it to him. Anyways, let's talk about Patreon real quick.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you for those who are donating to us on Patreon. But I messaged each of you just before I started this because I wasn't sure if I should say your names on the air. Yeah. And I say that because we get donations for the Sunday Morning Lunch Review podcast, and we don't. Some people actually specifically say they don't want to be mentioned, which is fine. I get that. I absolutely want to respect people's privacy, so I don't assume because you are a wonderful supporter of us on Patreon that you automatically want your name out there. Mm-hmm. If you do, let me know. Send me a message, or I also just reply to the message I think I sent. I think I'm using Patreon, right? Hey, it's new. And just because I do lots of tech things doesn't mean I automatically know how Patreon works.
Right, and we understand that you may want to support us but not be associated with us because
for whatever reason.
Yeah, we get that.
Yes. And all sorts of other things we're working on. Something else came up. This is related to the YouTube channel. Phil says he wants to help make some videos with me, so I will be working out some deals. He is a Linux expert. And
expert.
Yes, he does all kinds of stuff at a very corporate level with Linux. It's his career, it's his day job. It's pretty awesome. He's just amazing at it. So he may do some videos on that because he is my go-to. I contract Phil for work as needed, so I will also contract Phil to make some of the things, because when it comes to certain ways things are set up, I can easily maintain them, but occasionally some structural things I had Phil, for example, the way my automated certificate update works. I thought I had it right, but because it's a security certificate, I wanted things very smooth. I had Phil run over and do a review and set up the automated. It was worth it to have me contract Phil, because even myself, as much as I do know, I also know when it's time to contract someone.
You always have to have a guy.
You got to have a person, and I
Who
reach
does
out.
Phil have?
Who does Phil have? Dude, the guy's a savant. Phil, he's Phil. All right, we're just gonna say that
that's where it ends.
Yeah,
Phil is the top guy.
He's the top guy. I have a friend, Jason, is like that. He's a savant at Windows Server stuff. Man, the guy is just. If I ever get stuck, and it's rare I ever have a problem with Windows Server stuff, but he's my go-to guy for that. I just say, Jason, I got an issue.
Yeah.
And I love Jason's great. He is also a savant in his own little planet. So he's really good at what he does, and that's really what he does.
Yeah.
Which is great. I actually appreciate the razor sharp focus. That when Phil's over at my house, I did laugh though, because Phil always he's intently focused on things, and Marcus was trying to explain a game to him. Now my son.
Not focused.
No, my son not focused. And my son was making the rules up as they go. So Phil's watching this and not realizing that he's having an 11-year-old fool him. So he's trying to understand the rules and realizing the contradictions and saying, but over here you said this. And Marcus, well, yeah, that works like that too. Well, it can't. And Phil's like analyzing it. I'm like, Phil, just give up. I said, he's pulling you. And I look at my son, just laughs, because my son realized he had Phil engaged. So he just kept making up the rules for how the cards worked.
In the meantime, Phil's brain is just going crazy.
Yeah, like, wait a minute, this rule contradicts the other rule you said in the beginning of this conversation. And that's something Phil says. So, yeah. All right. Business philosophy. This is an important thing. And so the Meraki versus UniFi versus a few other different corporate firewalls or devices or Wi-Fi units. There's a lot of different products out there, and people are always asking for comparisons. Rightly so. There's reasons for that. And I bring up Meraki and UniFi because I had a conversation with an IT guy, and I get it. So these are how these two devices work. They both provide you Wi-Fi. That's the end user experience. The back-end experience, though, is very different. Meraki, as a company, wants, I don't know, $500 or $600 a year per device in licensing fees that you pay continually. Meraki has their own cloud services. Meraki provides the updates. And the day you stop paying licenses, the device turns off. So that's the business philosophy of them. Whether or not you should use them, some people just start out with, I hate them because they have licensing fees. And I'm like, no, you have to understand. There has to be a business model around things to keep them supported. Meraki's business model says we charge all these annual licensing fees and we automagically make all the stuff work. So you as an IT person has to have very little knowledge, but by not having knowledge, you pay because you're paying the knowledge over here. UniFi's philosophy, because someone complained about UniFi not having great support. You would be correct but UniFi has a lot of documentation, and it has YouTubers like me, Willie Howe, and Chris, for our people that come, Crosstalk Solutions, Chris. We create videos and have a lot of knowledge base, and they kind of allow a middle market where you can consult with us on setting these things up for a reasonable price. And because it creates a competitive market, you get really good rates on setting up some of the UniFi stuff, which does not have licensing fees at all, which of course fascinates people. You can turn a UniFi on and it works forever. And I kind of like the concept of you buy a product and you own the product. But on the other side of that, maybe you're an IT guy, a one-man band, and I just like Meraki because I don't have to think. And I just I have clients with plenty of money, so I make a 25% commission on all the licensing fees. These are business philosophies that aren't necessarily definitively binary, yes or no, right or wrong. These are just decisions you make when you're doing IT. And I get a lot of people asking me about this. You know my decision is I went with UniFi. We don't do Meraki. The thing that sometimes bothers me a little bit is companies like Meraki use that money in a way to drive massive teams of sales and partner programs and everything else. So they constantly are promoting that they're the best and greatest. And like I said, I don't think they have a bad product, but I don't think their product's that much better than UniFi's product. But a lot of IT guys, and this is where I have a problem in business.
So you think that Meraki should take the money that they're making and put it back into maybe developing a better or more advanced product? Or?
They do. They keep a balance, but one of the things they focus on is the old school sales team model of they just have a bunch of salespeople hammering there, smiling and dialing, and helping you out and giving you commissions on this. And a lot of IT people just sell everything cookie cutter like that and make all the money on the commission. So we've always tried to focus on the labor of things, and there's some things we're going to make commission on, and it's kind of just a different business philosophy. But sometimes I realize that the business philosophy of doing what we do and selling product ownership is a harder sell sometimes because everyone's familiar because of all the branding and all that. But it's just something to chew on and think about. It comes down to ultimately your decision. But it is interesting. That's why. But where I have a problem, this is where I really draw the line with products, is some people will hang on to a product because the commissions are good.
Yeah.
And it's not great for the customer, but they're willing to deal with whatever the downfall is of that and the minor inconveniences because the commission check. I've actually talked to a sales guy. He actually applied here. It wasn't a good fit, but super nice guy. But one of the problems he had was he worked for a big IT company, very big compared to mine, like substantially larger. And his problem was the owner golfed with the owner of one of the big companies they supplied for. They had gotten nationwide, big, cool. Well, the product wasn't doing well. I'm going to leave all this table. Company that has a lot of issues. And because of that, they so committed themselves to the product that even though it wouldn't solve some customer solutions, they knew the commission was so good, they golfed together. There's like look, man, this company pays out $250,000 in commissions a year to us. It's hard for us to switch product. That's why we've tried to stay away. We do some commission products, but we try not to become so dedicated to them that if the product doesn't fit the client, we don't try to shove it down their throat because the commission's better. And some people start making their decisions based on that. You're going to get this much commission selling this product and this much commission over here, so you just sell the product based on the commission. And that's something that's always drove me nuts a little bit in the IT because there's so much of that going on.
There's not really a lot that we get any kind of commission or anything on.
Very little.
A couple of partner programs that we belong to, but that is simply products that we already used.
Yeah.
And stood behind, and so we said, we'll recommend it to our clients. It's not, but again, like Tom said, if it's not a right fit, we're not going to. We've had clients. We have a phone system that we would recommend. It wasn't right for the client, so we didn't recommend it to them.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to do what they need.
We've done the Ring Central thing, and it's one of those things where, we never really got into the partner program, and it seems to be goofy right now.
Yeah.
We've been really digging into phone systems, and we may start providing it as a service because we like Ring Central, but we've had a few issues here and there, and we're trying to sort out. They're not major at all, and they affect us more than they affect our clients because of the way we use the system. Our clients have different use cases than the way we transfer calls, and we're finding little bugs in the system that they've been helping us, and our support's been really good. But we're really thinking about it as a business model, getting more into some of the phone services because Ring Central, we have a few clients it's just not a fit for. And it's one of those, if you have too many phones on premise, like we have a client that wants 20 phones but never has more than 4 simultaneous calls. Well, Ring Central solution is we got to sell them 20 lines. They're like, no. They never have more than 4 simultaneous calls. They just have a large event place, and they need a couple phones in each part of the building where the events are held, but don't have. It's just so mostly so they can do internal transfers. Ring Central will do that. That's not a fit for them because they never have that many outgoing or incoming calls. So we're exploring a lot more, and we've learned a lot about phone systems. Some of you have suggested things. I was actually talking and consulting with Chris from Crosstalk. He's a really smart guy when it comes to phone systems. That's a part of what is does. Crosstalk Solutions is a phone company, consulting company. That is what he does. And even Chris, even though I know him, I'm going to pay him to do things because we understand it's a business and Chris is a business. So that's something else we're getting into and exploring. Website updates.
Yes.
So I started rambling a little bit about this before the camera broke. So I have sometimes to the company's detriment, it's not going to cost us much money. Yeah, because Marvin looks at the money more. Marvin checks the bank account a lot. Marvin keeps on top of that stuff because I don't want to. And maybe that makes me not the best businessman, but I get so fascinated with creating videos. And now I'm behind on a project that I'm like, I can keep doing it next week. And now a problem has occurred where it's next week. And I made videos instead of transferring. And the bottom line, what it's going to cost us. So we moved everything over to a new hosting company. There's a few things that didn't work on the move over that exceeded some of the knowledge base that I had, because a lot of the knowledge is in here of how some of this weird stuff is set up and where the DNS records are. So all the normal WordPress sites are easy. It's moving over some of these custom Joomla sites because the code didn't just copy over, and there was things I got to set up. So I have to go back and set some of those up. And then because I was making videos and not doing that, it might cost us a couple dollars in hosting, leasing server space because we overlapped it. I'll just being honest about that. These are things that occur. This is why I need probably to get more money from videos because I love doing it. But this now will cost me money.
Hope you learned your lesson.
Hope I learned. Oh God, I don't. As long as there's enough money in the bank for the checks to clear, I generally I go back on about my day. I won't lie.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Hey Tom, you done with that project? Yeah, I should probably do that. That's a common conversation.
We stay on top of all the client projects.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if we didn't, they would have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, sometimes there's internal stuff.
There's internal stuff we should probably do. So that's all in the works. We did launch it. We do have the new hosting stuff. So all the new stuff. If anyone wants to set up a new site, we have options for that. So if you need hosting for your WordPress and want someone to help you with that, that's something we do. If you're looking for the cheapest WordPress, go to anywhere else besides us. We're not going to be the cheapest dirt. If you're looking, I want someone who charges $2 a month. There are people out there. That is not us, though.
But just like we were saying earlier, with you'll pay more and get these services from we're going to take care of a lot for you. I mean, we keep it secure, we keep it updated. It can be a pain updating all of your WordPress.
Yeah, but that's stuff we do. We make sure
take care of all
you
that.
have someone to call if you have a problem, if your website gets broken, you need someone to roll it back, and you're not sure about the technical challenges. These are things that we help. So we try to offer a more premium service with a human touch, which is, if you ever read our About page, you'll see that's making tech human again is something we've said for years.
Absolutely.
And that's something we don't like to treat people as just a ticket number that you get assigned to. You can actually talk to people here. And we're not the only company. It's not like this is a new idea. I use Hover for a lot of my domain registration. That's one of their theories is they don't just assign everybody a ticket. You can get someone on the phone, and that's why I have a lot of my domains. And it's only because I haven't transferred a couple of them yet from Network Solutions, but the majority of my domains are all transferred over to Hover. Because they're a great company.
Even in their chat, like right on their, I was surprised. Yeah. Like I had to use it one time, and I was like, okay, let me get through their bot.
Yep.
But it was like right away. It was a person and took care of it, and I'm waiting for them to be like, oh, well, we can, okay, well, because we charge, it's yes, you're a customer of Hover, but it's going to be this much for us to.
Yeah, and I think that's
like, no, they just help me fix it. And
I care about that. I care about perceptions of my company a lot, and that's something that's important to me. So I've even talked to other IT people like, Tom, you're missing the boat, man. I outsource all this stuff that you probably are paying a guy way too much for, and I outsource it to overseas. And I'm like, yeah, and we also know that we have a client that we're prospecting that is upset. Like they like the low price, but it's not that low, and they're realizing that the support just sitting on the phone is not productive, and sometimes their employees have to do that. Same thing with the camera system. They thought they were saving money. We just did a camera system for a client, and our price was double. That's why they went with the other company. And then after 6 months, they're upset because now they had us put a camera system in for the price we quoted. And you're like, I spent more. She goes, but every bit of the process was easier with you guys. I never got one of the outside cameras they had. This is a business. Never worked properly. It was a constant, being on the phone with them. She goes, I have so much time I wasted. And, they own a business and they are very frugal with their time. You're like, I know how much I'm not doing by sitting on the phone with tech support people who aren't fixing my problem, and it's a waste of my time. I can't just tell them the camera's out. They want me to try this. They actually have, it's not that big of a system. It's like 8 cameras, and one of them wasn't working. Well, they told them it was Comcast. They can view all the cameras but one, and they kept blaming Comcast. They're like, no, I'm not techie, but I'm going to say that because 7 out of 8 work, that it's not Comcast. Oh, no, until you get a Comcast out there, we can't help you further with your problem. It's like they do everything to deflect actually coming out and servicing it again. And they finally rip the system out, and they're just like so upset with them and trying to decide what they're going to do about the company. But we run into this a lot, and they probably should have went with the lowest bidder before, and they realized that, and they're not someone who generally does that, but it seemed like double the price was a lot. But I don't know, these people we aren't cheap on cameras, we aren't cheap on this stuff. Someone's like, well, I seen this one for sale at Best Buy, or I seen this thing at Sam's Club. I'm like, go ahead and get it if you want, but I don't support it. I have 2 emails to respond to it, more people that we quoted cameras or said, well, we think we're just going to go with this one at Sam's Club. No problem. But they're now asking me, they're having problems. That's why they're emailing me. And I'm like, well, I can come out there and troubleshoot, but I offer no guarantees I can make it work the way you want because there's problems with that system.
Right.
It's not like we arbitrarily set the price to this high. Stuff costs more money.
Right. But worth it.
But worth it.
Also, use our OCD to your advantage. If there's a camera out, Tom's not going to stop until he knows why that camera isn't working. It's just going to eat away at him.
We're very focused on doing this. I mean, we've even done performance reviews and troubleshooting with the UniFis. We contacted and did write-ups with the UniFi support in the forums. We made the videos about problems we were having. We did this whole thing because we had some problems with some of the UniFi cameras, and we wanted to make sure they all got solved. And we're very open on the community that one, we had some issues, two, those were solved, and now we have some large deployments. Which I have to do some videos about some of the deployments because we did some cool, unique things. We had some unique problem solving about how the UniFi cameras work and things like that. But the newest version of software has become that much better. It's little things like knowing you need a time server on there. And we've done write-ups on this about what the updates are. So I may even do another consolidated update because not everyone wants to go through more than one video, and I may make more consolidated video. But for the most part, they work really well. We just had problems with stupid things like sonic walls. And
If you're setting up a point-to-point, understand from the client, or make sure that the client knows they can't park a big semi-truck in the way of the...
Oh, yeah. That.
We had a client that a truck would come through every now and then and park right in the way of...
Yeah, there's little things. Last thing, speaking of semi-trucks, manufacturing companies as clients. This is something people are puzzled by almost. So we have manufacturing companies as clients, and the reason I've blown people's minds with this, I'm like, could you imagine a company that does $10 million, $20 million a year without any computers in their building? Most people go, huh? I'm in New York. What are you talking about?
How is that possible?
Yeah, that is absolutely possible. This is like a common problem kind of possible. And, hold on. All right. Sorry about the disruption. We had to go get UPS was at the door, and we're the only ones here. So, because we do this early in the morning. Anyways.
Relatively.
Yeah. Manufacturing clients is such an interesting thing. The size of the building, the immensity of the presence down here. It also makes some of the things that we do in this area very tough for us because they're not technology driven. They're like, we just need one computer that runs QuickBooks. And literally this massive company, they fix the hydraulic units that their lathes are big enough that, I don't know, what do you think that thing was, 20 feet long?
Oh gosh, yeah. It was easily twice as long as this table.
Oh yeah.
And just
unextended.
This big around.
Yeah, unextended. The hydraulic units they fix, and they have rows of lathes doing this, are about 20 feet unextended and extend, of course, hydraulics, the way they work, they'll extend double or even triple their length. This is for a giant barge. It's the dredging system that comes out there, and they're repairing the hydraulic units. I mean, this is stuff brought in on special wide load trucks, heavy crane equipment in here. You're massive. They have a computer, singular, with Windows XP, and when we're upgrading them finally to a Windows 10 with QuickBooks. They're running a 15-year-old computer with Peachtree on it. Now, here's how that works in manufacturing. You're going, how do they do it with all that technology? Well, that's actually really simple. It probably costs $50,000 each, if not more, to repair these things. They have a row of them they're repairing. You just go and line item the invoice. The single computer makes the invoice going 10 units fixed at $50,000. There's $500,000 sale with a computer with that, and that's how manufacturing works. There's a bunch of people employed. There's a bunch of people out there loading these, crane operators, zero technology. They have a punch card clock I seen, physical, punches holes through strips of paper to, or does some type of, I seen it's all the old school,
right.
You've seen in the cartoons. People are like, what do you mean they have that? This is how manufacturing works. Very little of it, because these companies have been around for 50, 60, 70 years, are automated in any way. The most automated thing they do is the lathe is electric. They got electricity, folks.
Doing good. We just got that last month. We're all right.
And if anyone's ever seen old manufacturing, we had a client and they finally closed. They were still operating it until they were in their 90s. The guy was awesome. I really wish I would have had some way to interview him or get on camera. They had a manufacturing plant that was since 1922, and they also had giant machinery. Now, their machinery was ornately still done how they do all the rounded edges on it. I mean, handmade machines that were from the 20s and 30s.
When there was an art form to it.
It was an art form to it, inlays in the handles, and they had a whole belt drive system still running there. that just kept working. So
Like
they
from
didn't
the
do it.
like from the ceiling type of old belt drive?
Some of that
yeah.
was still there.
Wow.
And because it was so old, where they had a central system, they obviously swapped that out for steam and went to electric. But
Yeah.
some of this was at one point steam powered.
But it works.
Because the
It
business
works.
was older than that. The building was older than that with some of the machines. They had it in the family since 1922.
Yeah.
And we used to like going there because they had one computer to do the billing. And it's the same thing. Each invoice was like for $100,000 to fix these giant things that they did. It was something incredible. And it was just interesting. I mean, this is how manufacturing works a lot. It's not like the new Tesla factory that they built where so much of it's automated. So much of the support service companies that support our automotives, even though the automotive industry has automated a lot of things, some of these ancillary support companies that do things like that aren't. So that's a lot of our clients. They're unusual because they're lack of...
Yeah, well, you said they were still using like a kerchunking.
Yes. Yeah, that's how they wrote the checks to us. They had a safe that was amazing looking. The safe had all those inlays. I mean, this stuff all belonged in a museum. They had a kerchunky check machine. I call it that because it's like you load the check in and you put the numbers, you slide them over there, and it pulls down and stamps the numbers onto the check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. That's still how they wrote checks, and they used to write checks just like I mean, I want to cash it, but
Right.
it's like art.
As opposed to now, we just fire off a PayPal invoice and the person wires money back to us.
Yeah, I mean, the simplicity of it all. So we'll leave you at that before we babble on about a bunch of other stuff. We'll save some topics for another time. Let me know your thoughts on some of my business things, the Meraki versus UniFi type business philosophy of the two different companies, what your thoughts are on some of them. I'm always interested to hear from you. We also just, in general, love all the feedback that we get, and I hear so many people say that, hey, you helped me do this, you helped me set up my lab. I love hearing that. That's just great that someone got inspired to get more into technology over a topic, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Check out some of the other videos I covered. I covered some controversy with PF Sense yesterday, so check out that video. There's some craziness I linked to, and I did our UniFi update one, and there's plenty more videos coming, but I do have to get to fixing the website stuff because I'm hopefully finish that all today.
Yes, he does.
Yes, I do.
Fix that.
And I got to fix this now. This is a whole another freaking Vlog
Let's-
Thursday
let's-
number 2.
Let's do the website first.
Yeah, that thing still has me angry. All right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe.
All right, like, subscribe. Get us to 20,000
something
quickly.
We're at 15,000, 20,000.
Get us to 20. Tell your friends and clickety click. And,
Click. Check our. We have been working on speed optimizations for our website. We realized I had just piled on the plugins. So if you want to check out Launch Systems, we made it better. So
make it better.
It turned out that you don't want all the plugins on, and there was a bit too much jQuery going on, and we're like,
install all the plugins.
Well, it's one of those things like because our websites, we not ever restarted. We just keep moving forward with it. So we never deprecated old things that were on there. And the plugin list was so long. We're like, why is the website slow? Do you know how many plugins you have, Tom? No. All right. So Kyle's been working hard at that, and he's got it he did a great job. He shaved off half the size of the website.
Holy cow.
He's like, what is all this? Like, that happened.
All right. We'll see you. Let's see us on Tuesday for Off Topic Tuesday.
Yes, and if you have articles, send them to us, but don't worry if you don't, we will figure it out. We're good at being off topic.
Yeah. See ya.